Hello and welcome back to Loaves and Dishes. Today, technically over the weekend, I just forgot to film this intro. Today we're going to be making some chicken meatballs. Now, I made this recipe super simple because you can kind of put whatever you want to in these meatballs, but the basic ingredients of a meatball are a meat, an egg, and some breadcrumbs. A lot of people like to put cheese. You could put extra seasonings. I also additionally added some parsley and a little bit of mustard because the vinegar from the mustard, I also use spicy brown mustard. So the vinegar and the slight spice from the mustard would help kind of cut through the chicken a little bit, give it a better flavor. And I use some parsley because some fresh herbs are always nice. But that's it. I'm gonna show you how to make chicken meatballs and let's get started.
I am just gonna chop up this bunch of parsley. It's really easy for things like fresh herbs and that kind of thing to go bad in your fridge. So what I like to do is when I get some, I just go ahead and chop it up. And then I use what I need to, and then I put the rest in a Ziploc bag with a little piece of paper towel. And it usually will keep in the fridge for a couple of days until I can use it other ways. But I'm chopping all of this up. I'm only really going to use about 2 tablespoons of this. So if you didn't want to buy fresh parsley and you didn't want to do all this work to chop it up, you could just use dried. So now in my bowl, I'm going to add 1 package of ground chicken. I'm adding an egg. And then I'm adding my roughly 2 tablespoons of parsley. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then I'm adding half a cup of breadcrumbs, and I'm using the Italian, like, pre-seasoned ones because I like those best. And then I'm adding some salt and some pepper. I also added in some mustard. I'm using spicy brown mustard, but you could use Dijon. Sure, you could use regular mustard as well. You don't taste the mustard, but the vinegar flavor helps amp up, like, the salt and the all of the other flavors. It helps kind of cuts the fat of the chicken and everything. So now I'm just mixing this up really well. You just want to make sure that you get everything like thoroughly mixed. So I'm just like kind of taking my spatula and I'm kind of like smashing it around the bowl just so that I make sure everything's all mixed up. So now I'm taking a scooper and I am just portioning out these meatballs. I wanted them to be smaller because they cook faster if they're smaller, but if you wanted to do bigger meatballs, you absolutely could. It's just going to take longer to cook, that's all. And I scoop them out, and then I put them in a ham, and I roll them around just a little bit so that they're like an actual ball shape and not, flat on the bottom like they would be if I just did this with a scooper. I was having a conversation with my husband during this, during filming this. So these meatballs are great because you can make them like this. You could freeze them. You just like portion them out on this plate, stick it in the freezer for like 30 to 45 minutes, and then put them in a bag so that they don't stick together. You could freeze them and keep them in the freezer. You could make them as meal prep. This is a really healthy recipe. I mean, there's nothing bad in this. And if you wanted to add some extra flavor to these, you could add cheese. You could add any kind of spice or seasoning that you wanted to add. I mean, if you wanted it to be spicy, you could add chipotle peppers. You could add chili flakes. You could add, obviously, garlic and onion. I normally put garlic in everything, but I had some garlic set out for this, and I completely forgot to put it in there. You could add different herbs. You could add some sage or some thyme. You could do this with a different meat. You could use ground pork. You could use ground turkey. You could use ground beef. You could almost do just about anything to these and make them taste different. This is just a really super simple meatball recipe that you can take and make your own. Okay, so now that I have those all portioned out, I'm putting in a couple tablespoons of oil in my pan. And then I am just putting these in the pan one at a time. And I'm going to let them get really brown. And the way that I like to do meatballs is I put them all in the pan and I let them cook for a minute or two. And then I kind of shake the pan just a little bit, and she'll see that in a minute. I shake the pan a little bit, and then whatever is loose is going to roll around, and whatever is not ready to turn won't move. And so that's a good way to like not have stuck on bits on the bottom of your pan. So here it is. I'm giving a little shake. Most of them moved, and there was and then, this is kind of sped up. So this is what they're looking like. Nice brown color. And then I let them get a little bit darker. And now I am putting them in a baking dish, and I'm going to put those in the oven to finish in the oven. They were not up to temperature yet. If you check the temperature and they get to 165 in the pan, perfect. Just take them out. They're ready to eat. Mine didn't, so I put them in the oven at 400 degrees and let them sit in there for, 5 or 10 minutes while I was making a baked potato. And then I also made a little sauce in my pan. The sauce is not a recipe. I got it from a cookbook, but it was really good. It was some oil and some vinegar and some green onions and a little ginger, a little Asian inspired. But you could put whatever sauce you wanted to on there. And if you want to see some sauces that would go good on these, just let me know. But here they are. These were delicious. And if you want to see more recipes, be sure to check out Lives and Dishes. And thanks for watching.